Alright everybody, so I got the latest bit of deliveries here, which includes some new bolts, a pack of these center drill bits, which function essentially as you press down, they reveal the drill, so it helps you center your drill. A pack of screw removal kits with drills on one side and these extractors on the other side. So we're just going to measure the bolts and we're going to go downstairs and start assembling things. In terms of the bolts, we have these new ones and here we have the old ones. The main difference that we see is the socket on top. On the old ones is a 10mm, and on these new ones I believe that's an 8mm, and on the old ones you see that's a 10mm. So that's one of the differences. In terms of sizes, the old ones are 5.86mm, and the new one 5.8, 5.7, 9. So the new ones are just like a fraction of a millimeter less. In terms of length, they are just under 20mm here, so 19.81, and the old one was about the same, 19.8. And the flange size on these ones is 12.9, and on the old ones was 12.7. So the flange is actually slightly bigger, it seems. Yeah, so that's even better because we have more distributed force onto the thing. So they are the right size to replace these, and as you can see, well, they're actually slightly shorter, which is fine because they have less of this little non-threaded bit at the top. So I'm just going to replace all 5 of them with these new ones, and we should be able to assemble. And yeah, so let's go downstairs now and start assembling things and torquing things properly. Okay guys, we're back at the bike. So first problem we're going to deal with today is we're going to remove the screw that we snapped and reinstall the new clutch components. So first let's remove the cover, unscrew all these 8mm screws or flange bolts, whatever they're called, and get to removing that torn bolt. Okay, the cover is off and this is the screw we need to remove. Now to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to use one of these guys to essentially center as much as possible and drill it this way. Now this drill bit utilizes a center drill bit set that helps me keep it centered. Because it's snapped off unevenly, I can't really tap it so that I can center the drill. So we're going to use this. This is a normal right-sided drill. So we're just going to make a hole enough so that we can then utilize the left-sided drill to start drilling down the center to make a bigger hole, and then we're going to use the extractor to make it come out if this doesn't make it come out anyways. So let's first let's get it center drilled and see how that will work. Okay, so we actually have the screw coming out already, so you can see it. I can spin it with my finger. So I'm just gonna do that and try to take it out as much as possible and pull it out. Ta-da! Screws out. Alright, screws out. Very, very minimal damage, if any, actually. So the centering kit actually helped a lot. So let's put the new clutch plates, torque everything down, and continue reassembling. Okay, new clutch plates are in place, new bolts and springs, and new springs are in place. Now we're going to torque these. According to the manual, they should be torqued to 10 to 14 Newton meters or 7 to 10 foot-pounds of force. So I have my smaller torque wrench set up to right now 12.4 Newton meters or right around 110 foot-pounds. Sorry, 110 inch-pounds. Yeah, this is funny that they put inch-pounds on here. So we're going to tighten these, and then we're putting on the gasket, and this side is done. Everything's perfectly torqued now, and we installed the starter sprocket over here. Let's put the gasket on, and let's cover this up and torque the rest of the bolts. Okay, clutch cover is on. These bolts actually have the same torque values as the ones on the clutch springs, which is 10 to 14 Newton meters or 7 to 10 foot-pounds. So I already have the setting on my torque wrench, and I'm just going to torque them. And then we're putting on the cover here, and we're going to add oil later on, but the clutch replacement is done. Okay, clutch cover is on, everything's torqued, clutch replacement is complete. Now we're going to tighten some of the bolts that I haven't tightened yet. First thing is the oil pan. So on the oil pan, just point that up a little. We have these 6mm bolts that go all the way around. So those are also 10 to 14 Newton meters or 7 to 10 foot-pounds, as well as the drain bolt, which is right here. That one is a 12mm, and that one actually should be tightened to 34 to 40 Newton meters. That's, I don't know if you guys can see it, a big bolt down there. So that's 35 to 40 Newton meters or 25 to 29 foot-pounds. So let's tighten those first, and then we're going to move on to the top, do the valve adjustment, the final valve adjustment, and tighten everything up properly. Okay, everything is opened up and we're ready to do the adjustment. Before we do the adjustment though, I do want to tighten up some of the bolts. So we're going to be tightening these guys that are connected to the these oil tubes, and these big ones right here. So for the smaller ones, the ones that are marked 10 on top, those are actually 6mm bolts with and should get the same 10 to 14 Newton meters or 7 to 10 foot-pounds of torque on them. And the other ones, these big ones, these are the chain guide B bolts. They are a 9mm UBS bolt, and they need a 30 to 34 Newton meters or 22 to 25 foot-pounds. So let's tighten these first, and then we're going to move on to do the adjustment. Alright, everything is torqued. Now let's rotate the engine over to its top dead center for the compression. stroke, and then adjust the valves, and we should be wrapping up soon. Okay, so the valves are adjusted on this side and they're tightened. In terms of the force on these screws or these nuts, you should be putting on, there are actually 7mm nuts, and you need to put on 21 to 25 Newton meters or 15 to 18 foot-pounds. So they really need to be screwed down, otherwise you end up with what I ended up with. So make sure they're tight. Alright, engine is all reassembled. Just final touch is to torque these top ones to spec, which is between 8 and 12 Newton meters. They actually don't need to be very tight. And that's it. Let's now plug some things back in, put the tank back on, and I still need to get oil in and bring the battery down. So let's do that. Okay, the exhaust is back on. In terms of torque values, the screws on the clamps back there, those are 8mm screws, and they require 18 to 28 Newton meters or 13 to 20 foot-pounds. The nuts and screws on the flanges at the front, those are 6mm and require 18 to 14 Newton meters or 6 to 10 foot-pounds of torque. And the final bit is these guys up here that keep the mufflers on, as well as this one right here that mounts the muffler. These guys are 8mm bolts, and they require 18 to 28 Newton meters or 13 to 20 foot-pounds. Okay, so now we're going to put the tank back on, fix the brake pedal so that it's not sitting upright like that, and we need to get the battery, and then we can start the bike. Oh, sorry, we need to get oil in it first. Alright, tank is on. Let's get some oil in it, and let's see if it runs. Alright, fully assembled, 2.8 liters of oil in it. Moment of truth. Let's see if it will start. Okay, electronics are fine. Make sure you have fuel. Fuel is on. Full choke. Alright, that sounds much better. It's smoking because of all sorts of other liquids that were spilled on the exhaust. No oil leaks, that's good. Alright, let's let it warm up and take it for a ride. Alright, it's still smoking, but it runs beautifully. The clutch is spot on. It actually does spin the wheels under hard acceleration in first gear, which is kind of scary. But that's pretty awesome. The engine runs nice and smooth, very responsive. As you can see, it revs up real nice and easy and comes back down to a nice purr. So, perfect. Alright guys, bike is finally in a running condition again. I'm very happy with the results. No more stupid mistakes, things are being torqued properly. So thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications when new videos become available. Check me out on Instagram at BalconMoto2018, and tune in for the next episode.